They say you've changed, and when they say it, they rarely smile. It's not curiosity, it's confusion, sometimes disappointment, sometimes quiet accusation. They say it like something was taken from them. Like the version of you they were used to is no longer available. And maybe that's true. When God is working on you, change becomes unavoidable. You didn't wake up one day trying to be different. You didn't plan to distance yourself. You didn't decide to outgrow people. You simply listened, and something inside you shifted. If you are hearing "you've changed" more often lately, this message is for you. Especially if you are a woman of faith who feels deeply, loves gently, and walks carefully with God. When people say you've changed, what they often mean is you no longer respond the way you used to. You don't argue as much. You don't explain yourself endlessly. You don't chase connection at the cost of peace. You pause now. You pray now. You choose silence when you once chose reaction. And that silence makes people uncomfortable. Because silence reveals growth. When God begins working on you, He does not always make you louder. He makes you clearer. You stop laughing at things that hurt you. You stop agreeing to things that drain you. You stop staying where your spirit feels heavy. And to those who benefited from your old boundaries, that looks like change. They say, "You used to be so fun. You're not the same anymore. You're different now." But what they are really saying is, "You no longer give me access the way you used to." And that is not rebellion. That is alignment. If this message is already touching your heart, take a moment and subscribe to the Dear Woman of Faith channel. Because this space is for women walking this exact journey. When God is working on you, He begins by removing emotional noise. You stop oversharing. You stop proving. You stop explaining your worth. You realize that not everyone deserves full access to your heart. And that realization often comes quietly. It comes through prayer, through disappointment, through exhaustion, through moments where you finally admit, "I cannot keep living like this." So you change. So you rise, for not to impress, not to isolate, but to survive spiritually. People notice when you stop tolerating what once broke you. They say, "You've changed." But here is the truth. Growth always looks like distance to people who are standing still. For when God is working on you, He teaches you discernment. Discernment is not judgment. It is clarity. You begin to sense what is draining you, what is distracting you, what is delaying you, and you quietly step back. No announcements, no explanations, just obedience. That obedience can feel lonely, especially when you are a woman who cares deeply. You may still love people, pray for them, wish them well, but you no longer abandon yourself to keep them comfortable. And that boundary is what they call change. When God is working on you, He doesn't just change your habits. He changes your heart posture. You become softer, but stronger. More compassionate, but less tolerant of disrespect. More loving, but less available to emotional chaos. And this balance confuses people who only knew one version of you. They don't see the prayers, the tears, the inner battles. They only see the outcome. So they label it. They say, but, you're acting strange. You're too quiet. You're too serious. Now, but what they don't realize is that peace often looks boring to people addicted to drama. God does not remove people to punish you. He removes distractions to protect you. And sometimes, He doesn't remove them physically. He removes emotional access. You can be present without being poured out. And that is wisdom. If you've ever felt guilty for changing, for growing, for choosing God over approval, let me say this clearly. You did not change too much. You changed in the right direction. Subscribe to Dear Woman of Faith because you deserve reminders like this, especially when doubt tries to creep in. When God is working on you, He teaches you to stop explaining your transformation. Not everyone needs a front row seat to your becoming. Some people were only meant to know the old version because they could not handle the new one. And that is okay. It does not make you unloving. It makes you obedient. You may notice fewer messages, less effort from others, more space. While part of you misses connection, another part of you feels relief. That relief is not selfish, it is healing. You are no longer surviving relationships, you are choosing alignment. They say you've changed because they remember the version of you who overextended, overgave, and stayed quiet when hurt. But God remembers the version of you He is restoring. The woman who knows her worth, the woman who listens before reacting, the woman who trusts Him more than opinions. And that woman requires separation, not forever, but for formation. This season is not about isolation, it is about identity. God is clarifying who you are, so you stop confusing yourself trying to belong. If this message is making sense, stay with me. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we will talk about why people resist your growth, why obedience triggers others, and how to stay grounded when misunderstood. Remember to subscribe to Dear Woman of Faith so you don't walk this journey alone. People, they say you've changed, but what it really means is that God is working on you, and that work is sacred.